Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I've got so many new things to show you at the moment. Some of them I haven't even unpacked, and I certainly haven't had the chance to try much. I don't know, it's really frustrating, isn't it, when all your favourite houses drop their collections at the same time and you're spoilt for choice and I make bad decisions. There are lots of videos out there, particularly about this collection, the Dior Birds of a Feather Fall Autumn collection for 2021 makeup wise, and those may well help you. Although I have to say, particularly in relation to the eye palettes, which I dithered long and hard about getting one. And in my first round of buying, I decided not to get one. Wait till a bit further on in the video to see how that ended up. But I will say that the colours look quite a bit different in different videos, and definitely some are more tempting in terms of the makeup looks, because my initial reaction was that whilst the colours were really beautiful, they were a bit too vibrant and apparently pigmented for me. So in my first round, I didn't bother with either of the two quints. I decided I would get a blush because the Chanel collection is also out. I was choosing from that at the same time. There is quite an interesting powder blush in the Chanel collection. And spoiler alert, so far I decided not to get it, partly because I've got a lot of Chanel blushes that are kind of starting to dry out and I need to use them up. But it was an unusual, quite neutral shade. So when I saw the Dior blushes, there are two. One of them is a really vibrant coral and is very like the blush with the etchings of the 1954 collection on that I got last year. So I didn't bother with that. I haven't used that at all, partly because it's so pretty. But I went with this one, which is a bit more nude and is called 468 apparently. I think on the box it might have a name. Nude Glide. Okay, so it couldn't be clearer that this isn't going to be hugely colourful. But I wanted something, because at that stage, bear in mind, I was not buying into the glorious eye palettes. So I thought I want something where I can get the really pretty pattern. Can you see that? The light's a bit dappled tonight, but there's a kind of feather pattern, really, really pretty, which is on the eye palettes. And I thought this is the way to get it with this. And quite a neutral, slightly browny nude. Not as brown, I would say, rosier this looks than the Chanel one, but that's quite pretty. So notwithstanding the sort of resolution I've made that I'm going to start really wearing liquid and cream blushes more now because they're a bit more flattering on older skin, I was tempted by that. But as you can see, I haven't worn it yet. So looks very pretty in the swatch and my sort of colour. And I think will look very nice with a variety of looks. So pleased about that. And then I decided just to go with two of the three nail polishes, which are these kind of chromed numbers. I don't normally stray into Dior polishes, as you know. I spend enough money on Chanel ones, but these look so pretty in the advertising material, particularly the one, which was this one, Wild Wings, that was being worn in the main promo that I gave in. There's another one which is kind of more green, which actually I thought I'd got. I probably decided it was much too like the Chanel ones that I've got. Now, I have worn this. Unfortunately, it's not what I'm wearing at the moment. I'm wearing one of the new Chanel ones. It goes on beautifully. It looks very nice. It didn't last two coats with a top coat on me terribly well, but it may be because I applied it a little bit too quickly and didn't dry it properly between coats, which I like to do. So it lasted about 3 days before it started to chip a bit, so I had to take that off. And I've got so many new nail polishes to try that it wasn't much of a hardship. Now, it's not quite as chromy as I expected in terms of colour shift when I wore it. And if you are a Chanel collector, you will think immediately, as I did, of Opulence a few years ago at fall time. Very similar. I have to say, Opulence has more shifts in it, I think, than Wild Wings. So if you have Opulence, I wouldn't bother really with Wild Wings unless you happen to collect Dior. And of course, we've recently had Solar, which is also similar, more similar, I would say. So if you missed out on Solar, and a lot of people did, this is a very acceptable substitution, unless, of course, you like to collect Chanel polishes like I do, in which case it's no use at all because it's Dior. I will say some people love the wide brush on Dior's. Let me just show you if you haven't seen them. It's a very wide brush, much wider than the long, thin Chanel ones. And a lot of people really, really like that. I think it probably depends on the size of your nail bed. I have relatively small nail beds and I'm not that fussed on such a wide brush. Now, the other one, which I haven't had on yet, is more sort of silvery, rosy grey almost. It looks really pretty. This one's called Early Bird. I have got some Chanels that look like that, but I've forgotten to pull them out because for some reason I thought I'd got the greeny one. So I pulled out the very famous Peridot, which is very like the green one of the Dior collection, which I haven't got because I already have Peridot. I have to say for Peridot, which it's absolutely beautiful in the bottle, and it was one of the colours that, you know, really sold out, was tremendously popular at the time, not quite up there with Jade, but very, very fashionable. I think it's really hard to wear. It makes your hands look a bit, makes my hands look a bit gangrenous, to be honest, so I don't wear it a huge amount, but I have it. And a more kind of wearable shade of it, because it's just a bit more toned down, is Alchemy. So that's a bit of an aside because I didn't get the Dior one, which is like those. So that was my first dip. And apart from wearing the nail polish, I haven't got very far, but I kept watching videos of people who'd got the collection. I thought that of the two quints, if I had got one, I would have got the one which has a kind of creamy shade, a goldy shade, a kind of crimsony maroon shade, and a mustard shade. Quite an unusual mix, but I saw people doing some nice looks of it. The one that people really rave about, and here I haven't even opened the package. This has arrived this morning. So if they've sent me the right one, which we shall just find out. In the end, against my better judgment, I went for Nightbird. And this is the most beautiful looking quint, but I just thought it's too much. I'd never wear these colours. Because you've got this very vibrant, I would call that an olive, a metallic olive green, a bit like the nail polish that I was showing you. Then this beautiful silvery teal, a silver, and you can see how these tie in with the polishes, can't you? And then a goldy cream, and then the only one that isn't kind of metallic is that pink in the middle. And I thought it's a really beautiful palette, but I'm not going to wear those colours very much. The other thing that I thought, which now that I see it in person, is it made me think of a Tom Ford palette, which I'm actually using there to cover up the mirror, which you can't get anymore. It was a very early Wet and Dry called Emerald Lust. Which actually is not that similar, but maybe that teal green. I love this palette. It's still beautiful, but I hardly ever wear it. I have a particular evening dress that occasionally, if I'm wearing it to go somewhere smart, I'll do an eye look with that. But otherwise, metallic greens, tricky. And what kind of sold me was actually a video by a makeup artist here on YouTube called Cheri Voyage or Cheri Voyage. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box below. She is a professional makeup artist. She's younger than me and she couldn't have less like me colouring. But she's a really skilled makeup artist and does, varieties of looks. And she's shown playing around in a couple of videos with these and using them wet, actually, which I didn't realise you could use these ones wet, and doing some stunning looks. So I decided to give in. Oh, look at that. That's dry. And so there we are with the main metallics. So they're more muted, actually. Dry. You can see they're quite glittery more than chromy. I love that one, actually. I love this one. I don't know how it's going to look on. And then this kind of outlier pink, although you could see how that could, even that's a satin, in fact. I thought that was matte in the pan. Could kind of ground the looks. So I'm hoping it's going to be quite a lot more wearable and a bit different to anything else I've really got. It's certainly such a pretty palette. I'm a bit sad to muck up the feather patterns, and you undoubtedly do that when you use it wet. But I've got to start using some of these palettes more frequently. So I need to have a little play with that. The shadows feel really soft and blendable. And as I say, there are lots of excellent videos out there, but I really do recommend having a look at Cheri Voyage and see what she does with this palette and indeed the other one. I'm still tempted to get the other one, but so far I'm holding out. So that's a kind of first look, and I've also got some Dior luminizers. They've got a whole new range of those out, which I've barely tried, but as you can imagine, gone for a few of those. And Chanel, so let's hope I get round to trying those out and showing them to you soon. Until then, if you've managed to reach the end, I very much appreciate a thumbs up, and it helps the numbers with this channel. And always happy to see your comments and read about what you're enjoying. I do plan to make some of the videos some of you have suggested, particularly with reference to my Tom Ford products and indeed my Chanel nail varnishes. But they are big projects because several of you wanted to look at kind of my whole collection and see which ones I rank and so on and so forth. So I am thinking about how I can do that. I will do it, I promise, but I can't promise when. So until next time, take care of yourselves and bye for now.